Oh, baby.
Alright. What's up, YouTubers? Alright, what's up, YouTubers? How's everybody doing? I'm not putting a lot of focus on this channel, but I really should put more focus on this channel. This is like one of my greatest passions ever in the entire world. But I'm gonna try to put more focus on this channel when I can. But so yeah, this has really been bothering me lately, and I feel like I have to talk about this, and this is like super important. I think it's really like a much needed issue that needs to be talked about. But so yeah, I was scrolling through my PlayStation, oh, PlayStation's having a sale. I'm scrolling through, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they have. Maybe they have some good games. And I was scrolling through there, and there's like all of these like big like AAA games that like everybody's talking about. There's just like so many like supposedly amazing games on PlayStation Store on sale. And I just remember looking at everything, and I'm like, wow, I do not want to play any of these games. None of these games catch my interest, and I do not feel like playing any of these games. And it just got me wondering, it just got me wondering, like, what's happening to me? Am I like losing my passion for games? Am I just like am I just not into games like I used to be? Or like, is my passion for gaming just slowly dying? And I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that that fire that I had inside me for so long, that passion that for gaming is dying. I don't want to believe that. So I was like, there has to be something else going on. And I was like, for a while I thought, oh, it's because multiplayer gaming is like the biggest thing ever right now. It's all about the multiplayer gaming. That's why gaming is dying, because nobody is playing like your traditional games of like back in the day, where it's like a single player game and you have to go through the story and you got to level up your character, get stronger, and beat the final boss. I'm like, I guess it's not like that anymore. Now it's all about online play. Fortnite, League of Legends, Fall Guy. It's all about like PUBG or whatever. It's like all about the multiplayer gaming now. Dead by Daylight. It's all about that now, and that's how I thought it was. But then I started going back into some of my old games. I was playing like my old like games from like the 90s, the 2000s, and I realized, I'm like, no. It's not that single player games are dying, it's not that story driven games are dying, because I'm playing these old games from like the 2000s, the 90s. I was playing, right now I'm like hooked on Fable. I'm playing the crap out of Fable. I'm playing Fable 1, 2, and 3, and I realized just how much I love gaming still. The passion is still there. Like I was just playing those games for hours, and I was just completely hooked and absorbed in the world of Fable. And then not too long ago, I was also playing Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I was like, man, I was hooked on that game just as much as I was when I was like 7 years old. So I realized it's not. I was playing Resident Evil Remake. I freaking love that game. I was speed running that game, and I speed ran that game like freaking 6-7 times, like trying to beat my high score. So I was like, is gaming dying? And I'm like, no, it's not. Gaming is not dying. The passion is still there. So that's my intro. So I'm going to do the 5 reasons why I think the modern games of today just suck. So now they may not necessarily like suck. I mean, that's like a strong word, but reason why the modern games of today just do not catch my interest. Reason number one, I think this is like the single like biggest reason, maybe perhaps it should be. There are just way too many games. There are way too many games, and there's just way too many nowadays to keep track of. Like there's like a new AAA game coming out like every freaking week now. I mean, what is I've fallen. I remember I used to stay up to date with the Assassin's Creed games. There was like I would stay up to date. I would play all the Assassin's Creed games. But I'm like so far behind on Assassin's Creed now. It's like, what are they on now? Assassin's Creed, I don't even know. Was it Odyssey? Is that the newest one? Was it Odyssey? I don't think it was. But there's like 5 new Assassin's Creeds that have came out. And I'm like falling behind so bad. And then you got all these other games. Beyond Horizon, is that what it is? The lady that fights the robots or something? Like, the second one just came out, and I have not even played the first one. I'm like, dude, I'm like falling behind. And that's like a game everybody's going crazy about. And then you have the Dark Souls games too. There's like, what, 3 or 4 now? I have not played any of them. There's just like... And then, I'm sure there's more new games coming out, and then... And like I said, you got all the multiplayer games. You got all the freaking Call of Duty games coming out like every freaking year. All the new Battlefield games coming out every freaking year. And then you still got all your other multiplayer games you got to play. You know, you got to like focus on trying to level up and rank up in League of Legends. I know a lot of people do that. Playing Dead by Daylight, Fall Guy. You know, I play fighting games, like, so I'm busy playing Dragon Ball, Tekken, Super Smash Brothers. There's way too many games. You got, and all the new Halo, like a new Halo came out, right? And then the Gears of War. There's all these Gears of War. I only played the first Gears of War. I am like so far behind on all of these games. I only played Halo 1 and 2. There's just like way too many games coming out now. And then Ghost of Tsushima, is that what it is? Like like oh my god. And then the Civilized, we're not even gonna get into all the PC games. World of Warcraft, what is it, Civilization, you know, all those like real-time strategy games on the freaking PC. Black Desert, Final Fantasy. There's too many games. I can't play. I remember back in the 90s, you would just have like that one game that you would be excited for. Like, I had a Nintendo 64. The only game I was excited for at the time was Banjo-Kazooie. That was like the one game I was super excited for. And then Banjo-Tooie came out. I had to play Banjo-Tooie. And then Ocarina of Time came out. I was really excited to play that. And then Super Mario, you know, there are all these, like, it was 4 games. That was like 4 games that I was just, that's it. Those are like the only games I was excited for. Like, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, oh, GoldenEye, of course, GoldenEye, 007. But it, like, really, like, all the games that I could count, that, like, the big games coming out, I can only count them, I can count them with, like, 2 hands. Now, you need, like, freaking, like, 20 of these to count all of the like all the big games that are out right now that you have to play. It's just too many games, and I feel like I get overwhelmed. And then my brain just shuts down. I'm like, there's just too many games. I'm not even gonna bother trying to play catch up with all these games. Now, and not to mention, now that I'm a grown adult and I got bills and stuff I have to worry about. I have to worry about working and paying bills and trying to survive. Like, yeah, I have less time that I have now than I did when I was a kid. So, no, reason number 2, the games are too big. I just don't want, like the AAA games that are out right now. I don't want to play them because they're just too big. Like, it's just like, a lot of these games just, like, a lot of the aspects of gaming today just make my brain just shut down. I think the most recent game I played was it Ghost of Tom Clancy's Wildlands or something, Ghost Recon Wildlands or what. I don't know, but I remember playing that game and I was just like, dude, this game is just way too big. It was like a huge map and all these things to do, all these side missions, main missions. And then I just had to worry about all that stuff, and then I have to worry about ranking up my character, making him stronger, because if he's not strong enough, he's not going to be able to fight the final boss. And I'm like, dude, there's just like these games are just way too big. I don't have the time. I don't know what is the deal right now, but right now, like, the whole thing is, oh, open world. It's all about the open world. Like, oh, if you're not open world, you're a crappy game. Like, I don't know who came up with this idea, like, open world is the only way to make a game. I don't know who came up with that, but I'm really not liking the whole open world craze right now. It's just too much. I remember, like, back in 2011, it was not so bad. You only had like one open world game. It was like the biggest one was Skyrim. That was like the biggest one at the time, and it was just one big open world game. And that was it. It was just not that bad. Maybe Fallout, but there really wasn't that many. But like now all the games coming out are freaking open world. I'm like, dude, I do not have time to freaking go through all these barren wastelands. These big, huge, open, barren wastelands, like spending like 80, 90, 100 hours of my life trying to explore every like nook and cranny in this game. You know, trying to do all the side missions, the main missions. I do not have the time to freaking explore all of these huge barren wastelands. And I say they're barren wastelands because that's basically what they are. It's just huge maps with maybe one like missions like scattered throughout the whole entire map. I'm just like, oh man, I think like the newest like Twilight Princess. That's like I remember that was like I could not get into Twilight Princess because basically Twilight Princess was just a huge barren wasteland with nothing going on. And I guess Nintendo thought just making the game open world and huge with like nothing to do in there was like a great way to make a game. And the few stuff that is in there to do, like you gotta walk across the entire freaking map to get over there, and it's like doing all the side missions along the way. Like the few side missions that there are, it's like rinse and repeat. Like you're doing like this. You're doing like the same like side quests. Skyrim was pretty bad at that. It was like Skyrim was like a lot of the times you were doing like fetch quests or something, like give me flowers or something, like collect me like 5 of these special types of flowers, or it was like a lot of like just fetch quests, like doing the same thing over and over. And it was just like, you know, spend all that time going through the barren wastelands, and then the few missions you do have, you're doing like this just like copy and paste like side missions like over and over, you know. I don't know, man. It was like, yeah. So they're too big. So too big, too much stuff to do. I don't have time to explore these huge lands, these barren wastelands, and then doing the missions that are there. I have to like, there's like hundreds of like side quests that I have to do that like just take forever to do. And it just takes way too long to explore this entire map and go through every freaking temple, copy and paste temple on the map. I don't have time to do that. So they're way too big. The games are too complex. This is like the #1 reason why I refuse to play Dark Souls. I see so many people. I thought I was a hardcore gamer. I thought I could handle any game out there to play, but I think I finally reached my breaking point. Like, Dark Souls is just not a game I will touch. I'm sorry, there's people that love Dark Souls, but I look at that game and I'm just like, I'm not touching that. Like, it looks very complex. Like, that's the thing with like, I don't know if people play RPG games, but like RPG games, it's very complex. You have to like know all these spells. You have to know all these like attacks, different attacks. You have to like upgrade your weapon, upgrade your armor, upgrade your shield. You're constantly upgrading things, and you have to constantly like level up your abilities. and you have to just do lots of grinding, fighting enemies over and over again to like level up little bit like little bit. That World of Warcraft formula, just like that grind, just doing the same thing over and over and over and just ranking up. Oh my god, like it's just way too much. It's too complex for me to handle. Like there's too many things I have to keep track of. There's too many aspects I have to keep track of. You know, there's just too many things I have to think about. I'm just like, dude, this is just too much. Like, I imagine myself just playing Dark Souls, and I imagine myself just dying over and over and over again because my character is just too weak. My character's not strong enough. I have to level up my character more to defeat these bosses or enemies. The thought of me just dying over and over again, doing lots of grinding, leveling up over and over again, the thought of that, I just think of that, I'm like, no, heck no, I'm not touching that game. That game looks way too tedious and complex and just like way too much for me. And then I remember the last Assassin's Creed game I played, Assassin's Creed Unity. I remember that game was very complex on me. There was like so many things to, like you had to, like there was like side missions everywhere. You have to collect all this stuff and then collect all the things like hidden throughout the town, and then oh crap. Yeah. And yeah, it's just, I remember there's like all this stuff I had to do. Like you had to go here and do these missions, go here, do these missions, go here, do these missions, and go here, collect all this stuff, go here, collect all this stuff. And then the menus were just like, oh, that just made me go like brain dead. Like just trying to go through the menus. There's just like hundreds and like dozens and dozens of menus to go through in Assassin's Creed Unity. And I'm just like, dude, these games are way too freaking complex, man. I just do not, like, I don't know, my brain just like throws in the towel. Like, I'm done, man. Like I gave up on Unity like maybe a couple missions through. Alright. Oh, I think I need to add this one in here. Okay, reason number or maybe I'll make that the last reason. No. Okay, yeah, I'll make this the next one. Reason 3.5. You don't really, like, I think one of the reasons why I loved a lot of the games back then when I was a kid was because it was just so fun interacting with the world around me. Like, I felt like the games back then, like, your actions had an impact on the world around you. Like, your relationship to the world mattered. And, like, I don't know, like Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time's a great example. Ocarina of Time, like, when you become an adult, like, the whole world is a complete mess. Ganondorf just, like, destroyed the entire world, and the whole world is just engulfed in misery and fire and death and monsters. And I remember, like, as you go, like, through the missions, you're, like, going through the temples, fighting the bosses, and saving the world, you notice your actions impacting the world around you. You know, like, the fire ring above Death Mountain, like, the Death Mountain is, like, engulfed in flames, and there's, like, a huge fire above the, Death Mountain, because it's, like, I guess that's to signify it, Death Mountain's going through hell. But then when you go through Death Mountain, you defeat the evil dragon, the fire disappears and the mountain goes back to normal, and then like all the Gorons are like back in the palace, and everybody's back. It's like not all deserted and empty anymore. That was like super awesome. I felt like my action actually impacted the world around me, and then all the Gorons were thanking me for what I did and like praising me, calling me a hero. It was great stuff. And then Lon Lon Ranch too, when you help out Malin and Talon and Ingo, and then you get rid of the evil, and then the dark clouds disappear, and it's like all nice and sunny at Lon Lon Ranch again, and everybody's happy again. Like, you feel like, or even, you know, it's like your actions were actually impacting the world around you. And Fable, I don't know if anybody played Fable, but Fable, like that game was all about like for every choice a consequence. Like your actions, like that was huge. Like this game was like a 2005 game, and like they nailed it. They nailed the whole relationship with the world aspect. Like they nailed that. And like I don't know why no game has been able to replicate what Fable was able to achieve. Like it's like a 20-year-old game, and we don't even have that anymore. We lost that aspect. Like, you know, but like your actions would have an impact, you know. It's like you could go in and like there's like a really important mission in Fable 2 where like you decide if you want to give like the robbers like a piece of paper or something, the deeds to the arrests of all the criminals in Bowerstone. And if you give him the deeds, the criminal the deeds, you don't give it to the cop. You come back to Bowerstone, like the city's like engulfed in crime and just misery and sorrow. Like all the buildings are nasty and ugly looking, and like the town is just like dark and gloomy. You know, it's like your action actually, like literally, it just changes the entire like landscape of the world. And if you give the cop the deeds, you go back to Bowerstone like 10 years later, the town is pretty, it's nice, there's flowers everywhere, it's nice and sunny and beautiful, and like the houses are nice. Like your actions had an effect on those around you. Like you don't even have that with games now. Like, oh my god, like Skyrim was just horrible at this. Like in Skyrim, I felt like my actions like had no impact. I don't know why people continue to praise Skyrim as like the best game ever. Like, I'm sorry guys, but Skyrim is not the best game ever. It was okay for its time, but yeah, like I remember when I saved the world of Skyrim, supposedly I defeated, what is his name, Alduin or something? I defeated the evil dragon. When I defeated the evil dragon, like, I remember when the game was finally over, I just looked around, I'm like, dude, this place looks exactly the same as when I first came here. Like, this place looks no different when I left it than when I came to it. This Skyrim is exactly the same place. Nothing has changed. My actions had no impact on the world around me. Like, that just killed me, dude. It felt like everything I did was just meaningless. Everything I did was useless. It did not do anything. Oh, Alduin is this big evil threat gonna destroy the world. Well, he's gone and nothing happened. Everything's the exact same as it was before, even when he was here. So I guess everything was totally fine. I can go on and on and on about it. Skyrim is like a perfect example of that. Even in games like Assassin's Creed 2, like your actions like do nothing. Like they have no impact on the world around you. And another bad aspect, I know Assassin's Creed is really bad with this, but like you can't even like in the older games, like your actions, you were able to like interact with like the non-playable characters around the world, and your actions impacted their world for the better or for the worse. Majora's Mask, holy crap, that game was just like so like heavy on that. Like what you did really did impact the world around you. Like Cafe and Anju, is that their name? Like you helped them like get the relationship back together and stuff, and like you were the one that got them back together, you know? Like you were like directly involved in that relationship, and you determined, like your actions would determine if they would like be together or like die alone. And I'm like, wow, that was like, you don't even get anything like that now. Like Majora's Mask was like Majora's Mask was really heavy on like your interaction with the world, and it was like super awesome. I spent so much time with that game. in like Assassin's Creed, it's just all you get is like a bunch of NPCs, non-playable characters, like dead non-playable characters just walking aimlessly around the town forever. You can't interact with them, you can't talk to them, you can't do anything with them. Like they're basically just, you are just like invisible to the entire world, and they're not even aware of your existence or the things you have done for the world. So a lot of these games are just dead. There's like just, you can't like interact with the world. So Twilight Princess was really bad with that too. And the few non-playable characters that you do interact with, it's scripted. You're supposed to talk to them, and there's no way you can get around that. You're gonna talk to them whether you like it or not, and like, it's scripted, it's supposed to happen. So it just kind of like